Ada is isolated in her own home. Her stepmother, Grace, has spent years cultivating an alliance with the village chief, a partnership designed to strip Ada of her only inheritance. Together, they hold a bag of bribe money intended to bypass the law and seize the land Ada's mother left behind. Ada's first impulse is to run to her father, but her grandmother Ngozi stops her. Ngozi warns that an accusation without physical evidence is a gift to her enemies. It gives them the opportunity to destroy the paper trail before anyone else can see it. When the local authorities are the ones facilitating the theft, the usual rules of justice vanish. In this environment, a direct emotional appeal is a liability. To protect her mother's legacy, Ada has to stop reacting and start observing. That observation begins at dinner. For the first time in years, Grace isn't scowling, she's smiling. She even places an extra piece of meat on Ada's plate, loudly declaring to Ada's father that the girl is family. Ada doesn't buy the performance. She knows Grace's history of cruelty too well to believe in a sudden change of heart. The kindness is a distraction. Adversaries usually have a predictable rhythm. This chart shows Grace's consistent history of hostility, a flat line that suddenly jolts upward into positive territory. In a high-stakes conflict, a sudden, unearned shift in behavior like this often masks a move happening in the shadows. The real move begins at sunrise. As soon as Ada's father leaves for the farm, Grace grabs a black handbag and hurries toward the local government offices. Because Ada identified the fake truce for what it was, she is ready. She transitions from victim to witness, following Grace into town. Ada watches from the shadows as Grace enters the lawyer's office. Inside, Grace attempts to use the chief's money to finish the job, demanding that the lawyer destroy the legal records tied to the land. But the lawyer refuses. He tells Grace plainly that he cannot alter the documents because the land is already legally registered to Ada. Grace assumes that every person has a price. When she meets someone who doesn't, she loses her only point of leverage. This failure reveals the limits of her influence. The informal power she wields in the village through bribes and intimidation collapses the moment it encounters a formal legal institution. After Grace storms out, Ada cautiously enters the office. The lawyer produces a thick brown envelope, a portfolio of records Ada's mother spent years preparing. Her mother anticipated this theft. She structured a flowchart, locking the deeds behind a legal timer, bypassing the family, and routing them to Ada upon her 18th birthday. That timer just ran out. The documents now confirm Ada as sole owner. But the celebration is cut short. The door bursts open. Grace has returned with the village chief, who immediately attempts to intimidate the lawyer, claiming his spoken word carries more weight than any paper file. When Ada refuses to hand over the envelope, Grace strikes her, scattering the documents across the floor. This is the danger of relying on paper power. A deed confirms ownership, but it provides no physical protection. Legal documents are only as strong as your ability to survive the person trying to take them from you. The lawyer reaches down and picks up a single sheet of paper from the floor. He isn't worried, he's smiling. He reveals a detail Grace and the chief missed. A government order approved just yesterday for a new international airport to be built on this exact property. This chart shows how the numbers change. The land's agricultural value is a tiny sliver, dwarfed by a 2.8 billion naira infrastructure compensation. As this compensation takes over the screen, the conflict transforms into a multi-billion naira corporate acquisition. The room goes silent. The chief turns completely pale, and Grace staggers back, stunned. Then, Grace's shock turns into a cold, menacing smile. In economics, this is known as incentive escalation. When you add a massive financial reward to an existing conflict, a bad actor doesn't walk away. They become more aggressive. Ada's legal victory has effectively raised the stakes of the game. By proving the land is worth billions, she has made herself the primary obstacle for a woman who has already proven she is willing to use violence. Ada has the land, but now she has to survive the fallout. The real war for the inheritance has only just begun.